Well, good. Wanted to kind of circle back, and if you could just explain how your rehab process has gone, and then the challenges that came along with having to leave campus back in March, and how that maybe affected your rehab.
Uh, so I mean, looking back, rehab's been going pretty well since the time I got hurt and after surgery. Got a plan with the medical staff, and I've been attacking it for months now, working. If you ask some of the guys, they could probably see me in the training room for about 4 hours throughout the day, in and out. I go to class, run back when I get a little bit of time off, get back to the training room, get some rehab in, go to meetings. Once meetings are over, come back out, go to rehab. So I've been really attacking it a lot, and just trying to keep pushing, make sure I'm getting back right. So once that whole COVID-19 hit, and I had to go back home. That was a little bit challenging at first. Just trying to figure out, how to maneuver and how to just keep attacking my rehab with the same intensity and the same, consistency as I did, once I was on campus. So, but thankfully enough, with the help of our training staff and, our trainers and our doctors, they were able to come up with a plan for me to do at home. So I was doing that, and Coach Hess as well. He did a really good job in helping me, designing a plan for me. So I was able to go home and, still attack, like I said, still have the same consistency, still have the same, mindset with my rehab. But once, things in the country, back home in Canada started, unfolding, and realized that things were going to be closed for a longer period of time than expected. And I want to be able to, get actual physical attention by a doctor or my physiotherapist from home. That's when I realized that I should probably explore the idea or try to come back to campus and, get back to, where I have more access to more resources. So once we established that, talked to Coach Brown about it, and, we talked, and he agreed, and he was all for it, and he supported me. And, we kind of found ways, came together for me to get back into the country, talking to the embassy, having the doctors write a letter, this and that. But ultimately it was done, and they approved me coming back in, and I was allowed to travel. And I've been back home for about 3 to 4 weeks now, continuing with my rehab and getting right. So it was a little challenging, a little bump in the road, but now I'm back and, just attacking full force again.
Anything further, Greg?
Yes. I guess it was home to Canada. The facility you planned to work out at in rehab had shut down.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that kind of spurred the decision to come back here.
Yeah.
How are you set up now? Are you able to? Do you have a place where you can go to do the workout and the rehabs?
So yeah, obviously things are not back to normal 100% where I have access to everything like I usually would. But coming back here, talking to Coach Hess and the trainers, we've able to establish another plan where thankfully I go to UNC. We're at this great university where they really take care of their athletes, and they really invest in that. And with they have this one building, Stallings, for the most of the injured athletes, like especially the post-op athletes that need more care and attention, physio, are able to go in there at certain times and work with the trainers, obviously following all the guidelines necessary and stuff like that. But I'm still able to have that access with them and seeing them and training with them and doing what I have to do. And then with Coach Hess, he's just been really great in terms of giving me equipment, everything I need, so I could have a little workout facility in my garage where I stay at right now. So he's giving me barbells, weights, everything that I need to do to kind of have that at-home field gym. So the combination of both those things, I just really feel, grateful and blessed to be able to continue with the rehab and just keep pushing and finish off strong.
Great. Thank you.
Good, Greg.
Yep.
All right, we'll go to Andrew Jones. Andrew, go ahead.
Patrice, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and excuse me, I hope you're doing well. The embassy thing, that's pretty interesting. Can you kind of take us through how that played out and what you specifically had to do, whatever role you had to play in getting that taken care of?
Yeah, so pretty much ultimately the big thing was just essential traveling. So they closed the borders between Canada and U.S. For you can't just travel in and out the country. You have to have actual valid reason, whether that be your job or medical purposes and stuff like that. So for me, it was just a matter of showing or having enough evidence to show that I need it's beneficial for me to come back. So in terms of Canada, they were fine with it in terms of me leaving because I wasn't staying. It was just more so on the American side for them allowing me in there. But once I talked to them to let them explain to them that I'm a student athlete at Carolina. I'm on the football team. I just had surgery, knee surgery, and, it'd be beneficial for me to go out there and access the resources since everything's closed in Canada, where I won't be able to go to the doctors, be able to see my physiotherapist, or, have that type of, a treatment. And then how we had the doctors over here, Dr. Shioka, he had written a letter to the embassy just explaining my situation, saying that he's the doctor, he performed surgery, and, it'd be beneficial if he were able to go back and, have a little bit more access to certain things so he could progress with his rehab. And, thankfully enough, the embassy was very understanding. They knew what I had to do. I kind of threw it in there that, I have a house where I'm paying rent. So it kind of be nice where I would be able to live where I'm paying rent at and not, just have an empty home where I'm just wasting my money. So they kind of thought that was funny as well. And that kind of helped with that. But like I said, Coach Brown and everything, he was fully supportive. Anything I needed or they had requested, we got together and made that happen.
And how long did it take from when you guys decided that you were going to try to make that happen to where it actually did happen? And was it stressful for you during any time in that process?
The whole process probably like a week total. I mean, once I realized, like, I was at home for a bit, and once I realized like things were actually getting serious, and like they said they had put in an order that everything was going to be shut down until the end of June, like officially. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a little concerning, knowing that I probably won't have access for next. That was like early. That was like it would have been like 3 months without access to anything. So once we figured that out, I contacted MC the first time. They had told me what I had needed and kind of gather up the information I needed. So once I got that from them, I was able to come report back to the coaches and the guys, and they helped me out to get everything I needed, and I was able to bring that to the embassy, and then it kind of went smooth from there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, Patrice. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll go to Luke Buxton. Luke, go ahead.
What's up, Patrice?
Hello, Luke.
It's been a while since we kind of last talked about your injury and I kind of want to learn what have you been going on this process in terms of personal growth? What have you learned about yourself? Any advice that you took away from that talk, and then advice that you pass on now that you're kind of on the exit stage coming out of the recovery?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this whole process since the time I got hurt to surgery has been very eye-opening in terms of, finding myself and, digging deep down inside of me and knowing, who I really am. And one thing really that I realized is how much I love the game of football and how much, it means to me being away for it for so long. Like, I could tell you, I'm probably one of the guys that's most excited to be able to step back in Keenan and go out there and play. So I really realized that that's something that I really want to do. I really want to pursue, and this is my dream. So I've just found more love for the game. And it's just been, a tough process, but the type of person I am, hard work ethic has been instilled in me at a very young age. So I kind of took it as I accepted what happened, and now it's just, how I attack it and just try to get better and get to where I was at. So for advice, just finding myself in terms of knowing that I just love the game and finding a deeper love for the game of football since I've been away from it. And in terms of advice at adversity, like to give out to people, is just you're going to go through adversity. You're going to go find, some bumps in the road, but you just got to, deal with it and just start attacking it and have a positive mindset where you can't do anything about the wrong, and you just got to control what you can't control. And that's your attitude, how you attack it, your effort that you give, and your vision. And so if you can control these things, you'll probably end up on the better side of things.
Anything further, Luke?
Yeah, just going off that, you talk about the love for the game. Were there ever days where that love kind of disappeared and you were like, because you were in the midst of just so much rehab and it seemed so far away?
Nah, because for me, it kind of became, I guess you could say, like an addicting factor, like working. Like, I mean, I love to work, like working out, like grinding, like practice. Like I love doing that type of thing. So once you're involved in it, and I was invested in like the rehab, I was just like, all right, there's not enough rehab I can do. Like I was just addicted to it. I was like I said, I was always in the training room 4 to 5 hours a day. I just couldn't get enough of it. So that's like been the mindset of me. And then I have a vision at the end of the tunnel that I'm trying to achieve, and it's just, I see it getting closer and closer as much as I'm working. So that really what kept me motivated, kept me pushing. And, just knowing that I will be able to, fully recover and get back to doing what I love, is playing the game of football. That was able to kind of keep my spirits up and keep me going. So I don't think really I had a day where I was like, man, like obviously there were hard days, but the fact that there was a bigger picture and there was an end goal that just kept me pushing each and every day.
For sure. Thanks, Reese.
Thanks, Luke. We'll go to Jared. Jared, you're up.
Patrice, how you doing? I know that this subject might be a bit sensitive, so if you don't care to elaborate on it, I fully understand. But I saw on social media a number of weeks back where you posted that you lost a relative to COVID-19. And I was just wondering if you might be able to share your family's experience, because it's very different than a lot of us during this time of the pandemic.
Yeah. So what happened was one of my uncles, so my dad's sister, her husband, my uncle, so my second uncle, he passed. He had got sick in New York. So New York's kind of been a prominent spot for the COVID, where it's been they had high levels of positive tests and stuff like that. So he had gotten sick and really didn't really tell anybody at the time. We just thought, well, the family just thought that he was kind of just sick, and he didn't really express how he was feeling until things got a little worse. Had to get to the hospital, and then eventually he did test positive for it, and then try to go through the treatment and ended up not making it. But for us as a family, it was just really hard because we are a big family and we're very close. My family, like, it means the world to me. They mean the world to me, and we have a really good relationship. And the fact that we weren't able to physically be there for my aunt, I wasn't able to physically be there for my cousins. That was really what was hard for us. And to have my aunt go through the whole process by herself. And she, like, my dad and their family, they're nine brothers and sisters. I mean, they're all kind of spread out throughout the States. And I mean, obviously my dad's in Canada and all the other siblings are spread out. So just not being able to physically be there for one another was very hard for us and challenging. But I mean, it just opens your eyes, makes you realize, how important and precious, time is with the family, and, don't always take things for granted. And it's very unfortunate, but I mean, we can't really do much about it, but just understand that it's a serious time, and these things are serious, and things like that do happen, and just not to take anything for granted. But we've been able to move on, and I talk to my cousins each and every day. We FaceTime, we have a little group chat. Just make sure I'm just there for moral support. Just doing everything I can to help them get through this time. But just not being able to physically be there has been hard, and having the funeral through Zoom and this and that was kind of challenging. But we're going through it, and we're a family of faith, and we know that God's in our corner. So we've been relying on Him a lot too to help us out.
As there is a contingent of people who are pushing maybe heavily to reopen the country, are your feelings a bit more on the stronger side of, hey, safety first now?
Definitely opened my eyes to the severity of the situation. Obviously, not taking it lightly, but I just feel like our representatives and all the health officials are kind of they would know what to do, and I kind of trust them and to kind of making those decisions. Whatever happens. I can't control if the country's opening. I would love for it to get back to normal as soon as we can, but if it's not safe or if it's not, the right time, then I don't feel like we should push anything. So, I'm just, as everybody else, just waiting back, seeing how things go.
Thank you for sharing that, Patrice. I do greatly appreciate that. I know that's tough. Thank you.
Thanks, Jared. Go to Ross Martin. Ross, go ahead.
Hey, Patrice. Kind of getting to the UNC team here. What can we expect from the two transfer corners, Bryce Watts and Connor McMichael? What do they bring, and what did you kind of see from them from your time observing and I guess practicing with them a little bit at the beginning of the 2019?
We're really excited to have both those guys being eligible to play and being really fully a part of the team now. They bring a lot of great things to the table. One thing that pops straight out of my head is just speed. Both of those guys are really, really fast, especially Bryce. He's a really fast guy that can run with receivers. Kyler, he's very fast and physical as well. So, I mean, it'll be exciting to have them, on board and, seeing. And ultimately, it just brings out the competition level. Just adds more competition to the room, to the DB room. Will push us to, kind of go hard at practice, just competing with one another. So I'm very excited for that. But they're very, very both talented players and, with great skill sets. And I think that'll help us out win a lot of games.
Yeah. And so, I mean, how does it feel kind of having more depth at cornerback with you coming back and obviously the addition of two corners and the experience of Storm Duck and players like that? And how would you approach this group heading in?
I mean, I feel very confident. And with us having more depth, it just allows us to be more comfortable and allows Coach Bateman, to be a lot more diverse in what he wants to do, and he could, just really fully invest himself in the defense and kind of, put all of our all the weapons that we have on the field. Just having that depth just allows us to just be more versatile. And for me personally, it just allows me probably to rest a little bit more. Don't have to play 80, 90 snaps, knowing that we won't have any fall off from the ones and the twos. I feel like, in the DB room, we're very, very, very deep in depth. And we have a lot of guys that have a lot of talent, like you mentioned, Storm, Kyler, a lot of young guys that have taken these reps last year that were able to get on the field and have that experience and bringing that into next year. So I feel like it's all positive to have depth. Depth is always good. Depth is always a friend. And just being able to not have that drop off between the ones and the twos is just very beneficial for us.
Thank you.
Good, Ross.
Yep.
We'll go to Gregory Hall. Gregory, go ahead.
What was it like for you having to sit on the sidelines while you were injured last season? Obviously, the hype, Mac brought that back, and you weren't able to be a part of that after being injured. What was that like for you?
It was very tough. Like I said, I love the game of football, and I realized that, I've been playing this game for years and years since I was about 6 years old, and it's always been a part of my life. And not being able to participate in the game that you love, that you've been playing and that you've been training for, it is tough. But at the end of the day, I came at peace with it. And I kind of, instead of kind of sitting back and sulking, I kind of took a different mindset of, all right, now I just got to still be a part of the team. And by doing that, I'm talking about, being supportive, cheering on my teammates, holding the guys accountable, making sure, they're doing the right things, helping the younger guys out if they have questions and stuff like that. So just trying to help the team out as much as I can. So just being on the sideline, it was tough not being able to play, but it was still nice to see the guys, experience some success, seeing how far we've come as a team and seeing what Coach Mack has done with the team. It's just, I can't do anything, just be happy. And seeing the guys, the receivers, seeing Chaz, for example, one of my best friends, college roommates, seeing the season he had, I was just very happy and ecstatic for him. So just encouraging all the guys to keep pushing this and that. But also oftentimes when we were having difficulties, it was hard. I wish I was able to kind of get on the field and kind of help and kind of give my talents and, especially on the back end of things and secondary when we'd have plays that probably didn't go our way. I would be like, damn, if I was on the field, maybe that wouldn't happen. We probably would have won some games, this and that. But it's been hard, but at the end of the day, I'm still had to support my team, make sure we're heading in the right direction and just trying to help as best as I could.
And then how do you expect the, improved depth that you guys are going to have going into this year to make you better? And then what are the benefits for just having in general?
Yeah, in terms of me making just ultimately competition now, it's a lot of guys. At the end of the day, this is a business, and it's like it is what it is. Like you have the best man, the best player will get on the field and play. You know what I mean? So in terms of having depth in that sense, it just brings out the competition out of guys, and we just want to compete to get better and better and better. So I feel like that'll push me and motivate me to make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's and not letting the team down, and that'll do the same for them. If they see me going hard, they'll know to go hard as well. So that competition level will definitely elevate and bring out the best of us, and like I said earlier, just in terms of having depth, it just allows you to just be more comfortable in terms of the defense and what you want to do, knowing that you won't have any drop-offs, or knowing that you could save a little guys in terms of fatigueness and save their energy a little bit and kind of just disperse the workload. So I feel like it's just beneficial overall.
Hey, Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll go to Pat. Pat, go ahead.
Hey, Patrice. Coach Bly was talking about how when he first got hired that leadership was something that he really kind of emphasized with you. Just kind of how much did you kind of take that to heart when he told you that? And just kind of how much did you kind of try to work on that throughout last season while you were sidelined?
Yeah, leadership is definitely something that I've been trying to, push forward throughout my career. I've always been a guy that's been seen as a leader of the team or leader of the group. And luckily for me, when I was a freshman in college, when I came to Carolina, I had a lot of great leaders ahead of me with MJ Stewart, Des Lawrence, we had J.K. Britt, Donnie Miles. So a lot of great leaders that were in that room. When I was a freshman, I was able to learn from them and see how they went about things and kind of, that inspired me a lot. And Coach Bly coming in, I've kind of been the older guy. I've experienced a lot during my time in Carolina, having 4 different coaches. So he kind of leaned on me, being one of the older guys, to kind of, connect with the guys that we have in the room right now and kind of, help him out with certain things. So it's definitely a title that I'm proud to hold and I'm very, comfortable with, and just helping the guys just ultimately get better. That's the whole point. Just helping the team get better, helping the guys get better, and just knowing telling them, letting them know what they need to do, what I've learned, my experiences, certain advice that I can do. So anything I can do to help my teammates get better, I'm doing. Anything, whether that's, telling them, oh, you probably shouldn't stay out that night, or you probably should go to sleep earlier, or you should do this on your break, or that. Just anything I could offer them to help them get better, I feel like I'm doing. That's really what part of being a leader is making those around you better as well as yourself.
You talked about the 4 DB coaches and everything. You've been pretty open just about all the adversity that you've kind of faced throughout your career. Obviously, the ACL was kind of a different sort of adversity than you'd face. But when that happened, just kind of all the things that you've been through before, how'd that kind of maybe kind of help you as you went through your rehab, just kind of that resilience that you have?
Yeah, like I said, if you're going to encounter some obstacles, you're going to encounter some bumps in the road, and that's what makes you stronger. Coach Fedora, he used to always say, adversity's coming. Adversity's coming. He used to always mention adversity is always coming. It's just whether you're going to let it, affect you, or you're going to grab it by the throat and choke it, So that's kind of like the mindset I've always had. I know adversity's coming. I'm not surprised when it comes. I'm not shocked. It's just a matter of how you bounce back. So throughout my, my whole college career, everything I've went through, it's always made me stronger to be able to attack the next obstacle. So that's kind of been my mindset throughout the whole process.
Good, Pat.
Thank you.
All right, back to Andrew. Andrew, go ahead.
Hey, Patrice, I apologize if I missed this, but how healthy are you right now? Close to 100%, at 100%?
Yeah, I'm right. I'm on the back end of the rehab process, so I'm fully expected to be fully cleared within the next month. Kind of by the time we get back. So that was kind of the timetable before the whole COVID happened. It was to be fully cleared throughout summer workouts. So, and I actually just saw the doctor today. Matter of fact, this morning, I had my check-in with him, and everything looks good. And now it's just a matter of, I'm about 90%. It's just the last 10%, just fine-tuning things within the next month, just making sure, I'm able to, sustain, like, change the direction that's unexpected and stuff like that. So I'm in the back end of the process, getting ready to be fully back by within a month from now. Yeah.
Did the time away because of the virus shutdown, did that kind of slow this process? Would you maybe be 100% now if that didn't occur, or was the kind of end date always about sometime in June?
No, it was always about sometime in June. With ACL surgeries, they always say it's about 9 months recovery. So I had surgery in late September, early like September 27th it was. So kind of like that timetable's always been the same. And like I said before, with the help of the coaching staff, Coach Hess and Luke, our trainer, that time away with the COVID, I was still able. It wasn't like I was home just sitting on my butt. I was able to keep working and keep pushing. And they've done a really good job, and I'm very grateful for that. And we've been managed to, keep that timetable moving the right way. So everything's going according to plan. Everything's going good. Thanks to God. And, we're with the process right now.
Cool. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Andrew. All right, we're back to Greg Barnes. Greg, go ahead.
Patrice, wanted to get your insight on two different individuals. The first is Coach Bly. As you said, this is your fourth position coach here. If there was a criticism or concern about Dre coming in, is that he had not coached at this level, to do athletically and at the position. What's your take on how he kind of developed and emerged and sharing his skill set with the players in a coaching manner?
Yeah. One thing that's interesting about Coach Bly is Coach Bly's been around as long as I've been around, since when I was in first round, he used to come out to games, be on the sidelines, talk to us, give me advice. So I've known Coach Bly for a while now, and he's known me for a while. So having that, he's always been a familiar face in that sense. And he used to always give me advice. I used to always go to him and ask for him for advice as well. So having him as a coach now is like, oh, it's a familiar face that I know and I respect, and I know what he's done, and a lot of people know what he's done. He has a great resume, and he has the credentials, to have the job. And once I heard he was getting hired, I was very ecstatic, and I couldn't wait to learn from him because he knows a whole bunch of stuff, and I couldn't wait to pick his brain apart. Once he got there, obviously he hadn't coached on that level before, but I think he's done a really good job. And his role, I think he understands his roles too on the team. He's our corners coach, and he does a really good job at that, coaching us in terms of technique, how to do things, scheme. And I think Coach Bateman, him being the mastermind of it all, he kind of takes care of all the schematics and all that type of thing. But Coach Bly, he's really a corner guru. Like, he knows everything about the position, and has elevated my game so much for just a short amount of time he's been with me. But him himself, he's been learning. You could tell he's taking great strides in terms of, learning schemes and stuff like that, and kind of being more of a, football coach oriented in terms of defense in general, not just only at the corner position. And he's just been doing really good. But with us, he helps us each and every day kind of fine tune our skills as corners and making us sure when we're ready on Saturdays, we're able to go out there and make plays.
And then also wanted to ask about Storm Duck. You were thrown into the action as a freshman on a very big stage. I know that was a learning curve for you. Storm kind of had the same situation with so many injuries at cornerback for you guys last year. You just kind of speak to his mindset and how you saw him develop last year.
Yeah, Storm's a great guy, interesting guy. I always say he's too cool for school. He's very mellow guy, always easygoing, doesn't, really have, that much expression. Like, you won't really see him too high or ever too low. He's always just mellow. And I think he's done a really good job. One thing about Storm, he's very, very open to listening. He takes advice very well. He's come to me a couple of times, asked me for things, and I've told him, given him some advice. And he's very, very coachable. And I think that's why he's had a lot of the success that he had this season as a freshman. Just being coachable and being able to, willing to listen to what we tell him, the advice that we give him, and just putting that in action on the field. But Storm, he's a very, very strong kid, very smart kid as well. Works really hard, and I'm excited to see how his career continues. But I'm not surprised at the success that he had, and how he was able to play. He's just really, really just a great kid, and I'm glad that he's in a part of our room.
Thanks, Patrice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg. All right, going back to Luke. Luke, go ahead.
So I asked Coach Bly this on Monday. I want to get your thoughts on it, on the new NIL policy that came out about a couple weeks ago. Is there any talk with your teammates about it? Has there been any thought with yourself about how might this impact you? Just kind of want to hear what's been going on.
I didn't hear
the name, image, likeness, NIL.
Oh,
name,
okay.
image, likeness.
Yeah. I think for us, I from what I've read, I think it will take all the stuff that it'll actually be put in place by the time I'm done. So after the season, if I'm correct, I'm not sure. Because they're in the talks of it. Listening to different suggestions and stuff like that. But I think the rules will actually be implemented once I'll be gone after the season. So I haven't really thought about it as much in terms of personally. I wish. I think it definitely is a good thing for the game and for the sport, and for athletes to be able to kind of help their families out, help themselves out based on their name and likeness and stuff like that. And I definitely wish I was able to kind of benefit from having that opportunity, but not doing this. So I haven't really thought about it or thought, I'm just going to fall back and see how it goes. But I'm definitely for it, and I'm excited to see how it goes and how it helps out the guys coming in the future.
Has there been any talk with your teammates, like when it got released, or is it kind of just like when it gets put in place, we'll deal with it then?
It's a great. It's we definitely talked about, like, it's a step in the right direction, we believe, and we're excited, but. We don't really know what's going to happen or how they're really going to do it. We've had certain meetings, I remember, throughout the year where Bubba would come in and he kind of explained to us what the NCAA was thinking and how they were thinking of probably doing things, and he was asking for our input. So we've had those type of talks, but in terms of, seeing, we could only see what happens. We don't really have that power to make any decisions ourselves. So we're just able to kind of sit back and see where they go with it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thanks, man.
Good, Luke.
Yep.
All right, we're going back to Gregory. Gregory, go ahead.
Patrice, what are some of your goals for the 2020 season?
Some of my goals, so personal goals, definitely to, my main goal right now is to get as healthy as I could possibly be before the season starts. That's what I'm taking my full energy in is, by the time camp starts, is to be fully 100%. But once, I'm back on it, my goals for this season is to make the first team All-SEC. Probably want that as a corner, and just help my team win as many games as possible. As a team, our goal is just to win every game in the state, win the Coastal, and then head to the championship game and win the last game. So just be champions. That's the ultimate goal we want to do is to be champions and win games. But me personally, I just definitely want to be first team All-SEC in my position, and establish myself as a dominant presence in the league, and as a team just to win as many games as possible.
What do you need to do to accomplish that? And then what do you guys need to do as a secondary to help get your team to the ACC championship game?
For me personally, it's just, fine tune my skills, just continue to get better and just continue to learn and kind of understand the game a little bit better. Picking Coach Bateman's part, as a senior right now, I think I've transitioned my part of the game to, I also work on the technical aspect of it, but just the second level, scheme, schematics, and understanding the game. I feel like that's where, I'm kind of, evolving and just trying to take that step toward the next level. It's just kind of understanding why we're doing things, why we're calling certain calls. Obviously, the technical part of it is important, just knowing my footwork and stuff like that. But I feel like the next steps I need to take is just on the mental side of it, just really understanding the game and the defense. So when I'm out there, I'm able to fly around even faster, understand what's going on. And I feel like that kind of, spills into the secondary, just knowing what we're doing, just being able to play fast, making plays, creating turnovers. I think will definitely be an emphasis for us to give the ball back to our offense. I think we have explosive offenses in the country. So just being able to give them the ball back as much as we can, doing our part of that, I think will help us a lot and get us in a better position to get to the ACC championship and win it.
Good, Gregory.
One more question. And then do you think sitting out for a year helped you improve that mental aspect of the game and get you ready for what you need to do for this upcoming season?
Oh, for sure. Just being able to be in meetings, throughout the year while the season was going on, just being able to learn. And, that's one of the things I wanted to focus on. If I'm not physically able to participate in practice, I could take mental reps. Mental reps are very important, especially for a guy that's aspiring to go to the next level in the NFL. The mental side of the game is very important. So, like you mentioned, sitting out, that really gave me the opportunity to kind of, really observe what's going on and really understand things. And like I mentioned, Coach Bateman, he is just such a mastermind, and just to have him as my DC is nothing could be better than that. And I think he's really great, and he's taught me a lot. I meet with him a lot, and he has a lot of connections as well. And being able to watch NFL films, see how they do certain things, how he implements that to our defense, it's just been very, very, very good. So the mental side of it is definitely something I've been working on and pushing and keep trying to improve on as well.
Good. All right, JB.
Hey, you got me?
Yep.
Hey, Patrice, thanks so much for taking out time for us, man. We appreciate you for this. All of this talk about your rehab and you being at 90%, needing that last 10%, kind of like sparked my interest as far as how much did this pandemic and having to, have all these Zoom calls and do these Zoom workouts and things like that through online, how much did it affect your rehab process, and how hard will it be for you to get to that 10% that you got to get to become 100% through Zoom workouts or whatever means you're doing right now?
Yeah, like I mentioned, just having a plan. I think that's something we did really well, is just have a plan and understand what's going on and not just leaving it up in the air. It's just kind of sitting down, being concrete about it. All right, this is what's happening. This is what I can do. This is what I can't do. How we're going to maneuver around that. So, like I said, our strength coaches, our trainers, my coaches, they've done a really good job to kind of make a plan and kind of maneuver through that plan. And that last time, 10%, like I mentioned, like it's part of the rehab process. Like that timetable that I had being cleared, I was supposed to be cleared by the time camp came. So cleared by the time June, summer workouts, I'd be doing summer workouts with the team. And then by the time camp came in August, I'd be full go. So it's still, the timetable is still the same. We're still progressing like we would have regularly if this pandemic didn't happen. So that's why I'm saying having that plan and having that structure is what has allowed me to, progress as I should, So that's continuing forward. I think still having the same plan, the Zoom meetings. We just have to adjust to it, but I'm not really too worried about anything, honestly.
Okay. I have one follow-up question to that as well. When you do get back to 100% and things do get back to normal and you guys are allowed to have on-campus trainings and all that or whatever, can you speak on the concern that will still be there in the back of your head, knowing that this pandemic is kind of like going to be a cloud over everything, over sports, over everything going on right now? Can you speak about the concern that'll be in the back of your head still dealing with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of concern in terms, of what's going to happen. Nobody really knows. And I feel like, nobody can honestly say, oh, I know this is what's going to happen, or when we're coming back, or how we're going to do, or how things are going to be, how is the life going to be after this whole pandemic. So obviously there's concern there and, kind of doubting like how things are going to be. But I think one thing that Coach Brown especially has done a good job with the team is just making sure we control what we can control. So kind of the Zoom meetings, in that sense, like having the guys, we're always meeting at least twice a week, making sure we're staying on top of the defense, knowing what we have to do, knowing our assignments. Coach Hess doing what he can with the guys, making sure their strength and conditioning is getting taken care of. So going back to the whole idea of having a plan, like we've done a really good job, our coaches have done a really good job, and the people around us have done a really good job to build a plan for us to make sure we're able to keep improving and then not fall behind. So once that pandemic hits, once the pandemic ends and we're back to normal, we're not, all right, what now? It's like, all right, let's just pick up where we left off. So we've been doing a really good job. And one thing, the guys are all in. The guys have bought into it. The guys, I'm fortunate enough to have teammates that are very understanding, and they know we all have a common goal. And in order for us to achieve those goals, this is what we have to do. So we have to be locked in the Zoom meetings twice a week. We have to be locked into what Coach Hess sends us. We have to be accountable, making sure, all right, I got to go do those runs on my own, like because my teammate's doing it, I have to do it. So Coach Brown always, and he tells us that he keeps it real with us. He says that once everything clears up and we're back, we're not slowing down for anything or anyone. So every guy understands that, and I feel like they've accepted that and accepted that, and they're working. So once we're back, it's just back where we left off, so we have no drop off.
That was so awesome, man. I see a future in media relations for you, kind sir. Thank you very much.
He's got a face for TV. He'll be in front of the camera.
Hopefully.